let us never be discouraged because of difficulty. I used to tell young children, young people who are in school, never give up a good work because of difficulty. Now about your studies, tomorrow about your relationship, tomorrow about another time about your competition, your political achievement or economic field, effort you are making in any other field. And most of all, your effort that you make to be a better person, to be a good person, that you are struggling against yourself and your weak dimension of the weaker dimensions of your personality. That effort that you make day after day is also something worthwhile. This is a difficulty, it is a problem. But once overcome, you find you have not only overcome your own weaknesses, you have overcome the world, because you become the welcome in so many contexts. And that's what saints who struggled against themselves, Saint Jerome, Saint Augustine, and we can mention any number of saints who struggled against their own inner world, inner troubles, and offered some great gift of themselves and their message to the whole of humanity. Jesus was with them. So that faith that Jesus is with them should guide them in their entire effort. Let us never be therefore discouraged by difficulty. On the contrary, be stimulated to put in more effort towards success in the context of every problem, every difficulty.
Your Grace, I have a question. Most of the evangelization we are seeing now, they are really demands a quick result. So it means they are evaluating their work because they are expecting an immediate change in the people. But how is it good way?
When people are ready for the message already, and they are waiting for the answer, maybe the results will be very fast. If people are already resistant, if the interests are in another area of life, if they are even a little hostile to a message that is too deep for them, then it takes time to change their attitude. There is a period of preparation. And I've always prayed as a missionary to enable me to understand the measure of responsiveness of each person. Sometimes you find someone responds immediately or very soon with a shorter preparation. Someone takes longer time, and some societies, maybe the tribal society for example, as a whole in Asia, we have found, they are much faster in understanding Jesus' message. Maybe their value systems are similar to those of the gospel or what Jesus teaches. But we are not always fortunate to find people who are already waiting for the message. On the contrary, we find often people who are resisting the message. Like a miracle, it is possible that even when they are resisting, you are able to give a message in such a way, or it's God's plan that the way you give it would work the miracle. It is possible, but that is not to be expected normally. And therefore, response depends on that person and the way God works with him and the way he is open to God. But our task is to offer this message always with seriousness, earnestness, with that sense of urgency, as people say, but in the sense of a total commitment from our side, wanting to offer. And we leave the miracles to God. We look to ordinary results of goodness to goodness and deeper message to deeper response. And time comes when God touches his heart. You can think of the conversation Jesus had with the two disciples of Emmaus. And it took a long time for him to speak to them and make them understand. On the contrary, when Thomas met Jesus, after he had doubted the resurrection, his conversion looked like instantaneous.
Yes.
My God and my God, my Lord and my God. And there are many contexts in which people therefore are changing their mind on the spot. Jesus turned to Peter, only looked at him. He did not even use words. But the change was spontaneous and instantaneous. So that part we leave to the Lord and to the person's choice. But our task is to offer with conviction.
Thank you.